The daily code snippet. The backdrop filter property also has inconsistent browser support. It depends on which browser and whether you have the latest versions. It is used to apply graphic effects such as blur or color shift to an area behind an element. The element must be made partially transparent. A common use would be for a text box over a background image that allows the text to be read more easily. Backdrop filter also accepts the global values of inherit, initial, revert, and unset. Possible values for backdrop filter include backdrop filter none, backdrop filter blur with a pixel value, backdrop filter brightness with a percentage, backdrop filter contrast also with a percentage, backdrop filter drop shadow with 2 or 3 pixel values and the color, backdrop filter grayscale with a percentage, backdrop filter hue-rotate with degrees specified, backdrop filter invert with a percentage, backdrop filter opacity with a percentage, backdrop filter sepia with a percentage, backdrop filter saturate with a percentage. You may need to add -webkit- and -moz- prefixes for this property to work on browsers other than Google Chrome. Let's look at these in action. Here's the HTML. Note, the placeholder text has been truncated, and we are again using class attribute source CSS can be targeted. Now let's look at the CSS. First, we are loading a background image into our body. Then we have a div that contains a background color with a 50% transparency. The first option is a backdrop filter set to none. We're using our prefixes to help the Safari and Firefox browsers recognize the property. Next, we look at blur. And the third option is brightness. Note that we are only changing the code of the backdrop filter property. It is a little difficult to see the differences in these options, especially with a cloud background, but the third, brightness, is clearly darker than the other two. The next examples look at these options. Backdrop filter contrast, 80%. Backdrop filter drop shadow, 6 pixels, 6 pixels, 12 pixels, green. Backdrop filter grayscale, 40%. Backdrop filter hue-rotate, 270 degrees. Backdrop filter invert, 80%. Backdrop filter opacity, 80%. Backdrop filter sepia, 80%. And backdrop filter saturate, 80%. We proceed through the rest of the options, changing only the backdrop filter property. Some of these changes are easier to see than others. For example, the middle example, invert, results in a clear difference, and the addition of sepia changes the color tone. In general, content is not meant to be conveyed with background images. Their use is for decorative purposes. This is why there is no attribute to add alternative text to a background image. Assistive technology will not announce the presence of a background image nor convey content. So it is best practice to avoid including any information that would be critical to understanding the web page's intent. So if an image has important content, it should be rendered as a traditional image using the image element and not a background image. However, there is a workaround for the instances where you may still want to add alternative text for a background image anyway, maybe as a courtesy, as the image is not essential towards discerning the purpose of the page. The method involves adding a role and ARIA label attribute. WAI ARIA is a suite of accessible, rich internet applications developed by the Web Accessibility Initiative to make web content more accessible. The role attribute set to image, IMG, lets the browser know we are dealing with an image, and the ARIA label set to the alternative text desired will tell the browser the content of the image. It is best to set these attributes on an empty span element within a div element, because if there are other elements in the div, they may be obscured by the ARIA label. This is how this would appear. Opening div tag, opening span tag, class equals background image in quotation marks, role equals image IMG in quotation marks, ARIA label equals write your alternative text here in quotation marks. End span, include additional content here, end div. Here is an example. Div opening tag, span, opening tag, class equals background image, in quotation mark, role equals image, img, in quotation marks, aria label equals a view of a lake with trees in the background and seagrass in the foreground, in quotation marks, end span, p opening tag, Lake Thomas, p closing tag, end div. Presented by Designers Learn Code.